Y'all ready tonight?
Yeah.
Good. Alright. The title of my message is called You Hungry Dog. And you'll see why I titled it that. We're going to talk about, I'm going to tie in Esau and Jacob. And I'm going to tie in how sometimes what's laid before us in front of our face and the decisions we make on the spot can affect our future. So I'm going to start off, Steve, I'm going to read Genesis 25, 24 through 34. Steve will put it up here for you, so you might, there you go. It says, so when her days were fulfilled for her to give birth, indeed there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, he was like a hairy garment all over. So they called his name Esau. Afterward his brother came out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, so his name was called Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when she bore him. So the boys grew, and Esau was a skillful hunter, a man of the land, but Jacob was a mild man, dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he ate of his game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now Jacob cooked a stew, and Esau came in from the field and was weary. And Esau said to Jacob, please feed me with that same red stew, for I am weary. Therefore his name is called Edom. But Jacob said, sell me your birthright as of this day. And Esau said, look, I am about to die, so what is this birthright to me? Then Jacob said, swear to me as of this day. So he swore to him, and he sold his birthright to Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and stew of lentils, and then he ate and drank, arose, and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Alright, so we start off, we see Esau come out. It says he was red and hairy. Looked like a little baby Chewbacca coming out. Then you got Jacob, he come out grabbing onto his heel. Just remember that a little bit later on, and I'll show how important that really is in our everyday life. See, okay, now Esau, he grew up and it said he was a skillful hunter. I'm just tying in some points for you to remember when we go about this teaching here. So Esau was a skillful hunter, and Jacob, it said that he stayed home within the tents. You know, he was content with being in the tent, as you can say, content. He just liked being in the tents, I guess. And then, all right. Before we get started, just look to the person beside you and say, I hear you stomach grumbling. Say, I hear you stomach grumbling. Now see, what we see is when we read this right here, we see that Esau come in from a hard day of work. He come in, he was starving to death. And here's his brother, got this soup, got this stew. And his brother wanted what he had. So he said, look, I'll give you this stew, and you give me your birthright. No. You give me this stew, but I want your future. Yeah. Now tonight I'm going to make a couple of different points to point out how these Bible verses, how they reflect into our everyday life. Now, and you know what I'm saying, when I read that, man, I thought that was just the most craziest, off-the-wall trade I've ever heard in my life. Like, Misty, give me something. What you got there? Give me, let me see that water bottle. Ronnie, you got a nice car. Look, I'll give you this water bottle for that car. Come on now, this will quench your thirst. But you ain't got no deer park. But that's really how that trade sounded to me.
Yeah.
I'll give you some water for your car. Does that not just sound crazy?
Yeah.
See, tonight, man, I'm just a mailman. I'm just coming to give you some mail. I'm just coming to give you some information that God wants you to hear.
Yeah.
See, the mailman, he makes sure that you get that mail no matter what. And that's my job up here. I'm supposed to give you words and wisdom and knowledge no matter what.
Amen.
The mailman, he comes what? Rain, sleet, or snow, right? I got to come through pain, breakups, or makeups. No matter what, I got to get up here and I got to be obedient.
That's right.
All right, so the first point I'm going to come to, beware of mistaking growth for maturity. Beware of mistaking growth for maturity. When I study these verses, I come to, when I thought about them two, Esau and Jacob over here trading away stew for their futures and stuff. I was like, man, these got little teenagers who are just off the wall. They're crazy. They wilding out. But come to realize, man, they were 60-year-old when this went down. So they was grown. They was grown folk. But they wasn't mature.
Come on.
And our maturity will catch up to us if it ain't fed right.
Amen. Amen.
How many times have I know I've done this a million times, like when you get to a point, you might be arguing with somebody and you're like, man, I'm grown. You're grown, but you're immature. You act like a big baby when you do that. You sound like a little baby, but you claiming to be grown.
Yeah.
See, we can grow up, but really not develop inside.
Amen. Amen.
See, Esau, he grew up. It says he was a skillful hunter. It said, he's a skillful hunter. He was really good at what he did. But he didn't grow into who he was. See, because he forfeited all he had for some stew. See, he grew in skill, but didn't grow in character.
Come on.
So we got to be careful. We got to be careful with thinking that we're grown
Yeah.
and still immature.
Amen.
See, Esau, he was real good at killing his dinner, but he was real bad at controlling his appetite. Let that sink in. He was real good at killing his dinner, but he was real bad at controlling his appetite.
Come on.
So we got to be careful not to mistake growth for maturity.
That's right.
Don't mistake age for wisdom.
Amen.
Just because somebody's older than you doesn't always mean that they know what they're talking about sometimes.
Amen.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
And let's tie in the skillful hunter and the guy at the tent. Let's tie in. See, sometimes we're good at making money, but we're poor at managing money.
Come on.
See, some of us are good at making friends, but we're poor at keeping friends. See, sometimes we can reel them in, but we can't return the phone calls.
Come on.
We can't find time to hang out. Yes, Amber, I'm looking at myself. I am bad at returning phone calls. I will admit. At least I can. At least. It's not my fault. Look at the person beside you and say, "Are you really grown up? Are you really grown up?" I know it's grown up, you know. All right. Now back in verse 28, it said, Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for his wild game. But Rebekah loved Jacob. It don't say that she loved him for no specific reason. She just loved Jacob. And that's a picture of some people that we have in our lives. Some people love us. Some people care about us because they got a taste for our wild game.
Come on.
They got a taste for what I can do for them. They got a taste for where I can take them. But then there's people in your life that just love you.
Come on.
For no specific reason, they just love you for you.
Right.
And that's the people that you got to be around.
Amen.
That's the people you got to surround yourself with.
Yes.
Now, let's get back to the stew part. It said Esau come in and he was famished. He was just starving and dead. And then that's when he started talking to Jacob. Let me just note this. We got to be careful who we talk to when you're in a bad state of mind.
Amen.
When your body's in a bad situation, when you find yourself in a bad situation, you better be careful who you speak to and who you can confide in.
Yeah.
Because in those situations, you got to remember from day one, Jacob was on on Esau's heel. From day one, he was trying to get what he had. And who was the first person he spoke to when his body was near death? He spoke to the same person that's been trying to get what he had his whole life. How many times do you find yourself in a bad situation and the first person you call is the person that you know is no good for you? How many times do you make that phone call knowing, man, I know they're about to just feed me some bullcrap, but I just need to talk to somebody.
Come on.
Sometimes I'd rather just not talk to anybody than call somebody that's going to try to take away from my tomorrow.
Amen.
It's going to try to take away from what I'm building up to get. But you got to be careful with the voice you listen to when you're in a vulnerable state, because you'll make the wrong choice every time.
Amen. Amen.
All right, it says Esau came in and he said, "Quick, give me some stew, I'm famished." And this was a guy who was used to getting what he wanted. And I always thought, when I was thinking about this, I was like, look, I know Esau's this big old red hairy dude. And Jacob this little mama's boy. Why didn't Esau just whoop him and take it?
Come on.
Why didn't he just say, you know what, I'll give you a broke jaw for this dude, you better hand it on over. Well, that's just the old way of thinking. I don't think like that no more. But point number two is beware of unsatisfied appetites that become exaggerated feelings.
Yeah.
Be aware of unsatisfied appetites that become exaggerated feelings. See, he was in trouble because he was hungry. He was weak. Because he was hungry, he compromised.
Amen.
We do crazy things when we're hungry.
Amen.
You ever just looked at a snack machine? And when you look at that snack machine, you know, a lot of times the slow-go ones don't go around hungry or something of those sorts. You know, it's telling you right away, look, if you find yourself, you starve yourself, you're going to find yourself in front of me. And you're going to find yourself buying something or getting something off of me that's only going to be a temporary fix.
Amen. Come on.
A lot of times when we find ourselves hungry, and I ain't talking about like hungry as in hungry. I'm talking about spiritually hungry, mentally hungry.
Yeah.
We find ourselves in front of life's vending machines.
Amen. Amen.
And we end up buying honey buns. Or we end up buying a bottle of liquor. Or we end up buying that Opana. Or we end up buying that Suboxone. Because if you stay hungry, you're going to end up eating junk.
Come on. Come on.
See, look, even if you starve yourself all day, you skip breakfast, you skip lunch, what's going to happen at 9:30 at night? You are going to be starving. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do when that refrigerator starts calling your name? When that refrigerator, that little still small voice from the refrigerator says, come here. And you go find yourself standing in front of the refrigerator. And you ain't going to reach for the broccoli, you're going to reach for the briars. You ain't trying to get nothing healthy, you're trying to get that ice cream or that Hot Pocket. But see, I'm not talking about food though, real talk. I am talking about your heart, I'm talking about your spirit, your soul.
Amen.
The reason we make bad deals is because we don't pack a snack.
That's right. That's right.
When I say pack a snack, I'm talking about you better be up on your prayer game. You better be up on your word game.
That's right.
That way you got a snack to fall back on when you get into a hungry state.
That's right.
You better be filled up with the word and worship. Because if not, you're going to be eating honey buns. You're going to find yourself staring at the bottom of a liquor bottle.
Come on.
You're going to find yourself looking at that rig one more time.
Yeah.
Another thing is, we can even take it to love. We hunger for love so much. We just want to fall in love tomorrow. And a lot of times we'll say, well, I'll never get married, man. And see, when you do that, that's when you start to settle. And when you start to settle, when you're trying to find love, what do you settle for?
Come on.
You settle for this sex. I'm sorry for the kids in here. Is there kids in here? Well, kids, you're getting a lesson tonight. But anyway, that's just how it is. When you're looking for love all the time and you stay hungry for love, you start settling for sex.
Come on.
And what it is you're not drinking from that flowing stream. Instead, you're settling for a polluted pond. And you find yourself in toxic relationships. You find yourself in situations where you're very unhealthy. But see, sometimes one thing I also want to say is like there's a lot of women in here. So I'm gonna speak something to y'all. The next time some dude just wants to get up on you and just wants to play touchy-feely with you, and that's all that's all he's wanting. See, sometimes I'll finish that just a second. Sometimes it's hard to honor a God that you can't see. So that's why the enemy always puts his bow in front of your face of things that you can't see.
Come on.
That's when he puts that bottle of liquor. That's when he puts that crack in there. That's when he starts putting that bottle of pills in there.
Yeah.
And he starts saying, here, I'll give this to you. Just give me your future.
Again. Come on.
Give me your tomorrow and I'll let you have all of it right there. So ladies, what I'm going to say to you is the next time some dude just comes up to you and that's all he's trying to use you for, and he's just trying to give you this bowl, you know what? You deserve more than that.
That's right.
Again.
Y'all are,
Yes.
as he said, you know, the dime, you know, it's talking about earlier. You're way more than that.
Yes.
Y'all are daughters of the Most High God.
Amen.
So next time some dude just tries to just fill up on you, you know what? Say, nah, I'm good.
That's right.
I'm good.
Come on.
I don't drink out of bowls no more. I ain't no dog. I'm worthy of having a man that's going to love me.
Yes.
So you can take your bowl and go on somewhere.
Come on.
Your bowl. I wasn't going to go that far. Just trying to keep it PG. But he does, the enemy does put this bow here. He likes to put things in front of your face. What is that? I lost myself. Where got my writing? But the only thing Esau needed, he could have just had one thing and this story could have been totally different. If Esau would have had one friend that said, hey, Esau, man, this is ridiculous. Man, come on, man, we can get something to eat somewhere else.
Right.
It don't have to go down like this. Tonight, somebody I know is battling with having a bow in front of their face. And tonight, I'm going to be that friend. It don't got to go down like this. That bottle of liquor, that Opana, that meth, that whatever that is that's always dangling in front of your face, it ain't worth it.
Come on. Come on.
You deserve more than what they're trying to give you.
That's right. That's right.
That temporary satisfaction ain't going to last, but just for a little bit.
Amen.
So tonight, let me be that friend to tell you, you're worth more than that.
Amen.
And don't fall for the tricks of the soup might look good. But if you think about it, what did it say in the last verse? It just said that he ate it, got up, and left, and it didn't even say he liked it or enjoyed it. It just said he ate it, got up, and left, and despised his birthright.
Yeah.
So, does that not sound like drugs, alcohol?
Yes, it does.
We eat it, but we don't really enjoy it.
Come on.
We take part in it, but it really don't fill us up. And then after we get done eating it, or after we get done drinking it or doing it, we despise our tomorrow
Come on.
because I feel so ashamed of what I just did.
Right.
So keep that in mind next time that bowl is set before you. My third point, beware of the temptations to give up what you want most for what you want now.
Amen.
Beware of the temptations to give up what you want most for what you want now. Like, I really want to raise my kids. But Chandler, man, that girl looking good. I'm about to have to go holler at her.
Come on.
I'll come back and get the kids later. So we've got to be careful that we don't give up now what we want most for what we want now.
Amen.
I know most of y'all probably sitting there thinking like, all this sounds good and everything, but I ain't got no birthright, so this don't really apply to me. It sounds good and all, but I can't relate to this. But you do. You can relate to this.
Come on. Come on.
Every one of y'all in here tonight's got a birthright.
Amen.
You all got a spiritual inheritance. And the devil can't take that away from you.
That's right.
He has to get you to give it up.
Amen.
And there's three ways that this can happen. There's three things that can happen with a birthright. It can be doubled, it can be given away, or it can be transferred. And we saw Esau gave his away. And we do it all the time.
Come on.
We do it all the time. Look at somebody and say, I do it all the time. Do it all the time. But this birthright I'm talking about that all y'all's got. It says in John 14:27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. That's part of your birthright, is peace.
Amen. Amen. That's right.
See, you're supposed to be at peace at all times. But that's when the enemy puts this little bow up, this little bow of worry, and some of us start eating worry for breakfast, and the rest of our day is just done for. It's done for. He knows the things that can get to us that makes us just upset and troubled, and we start eating on it. Something else, God gave you joy. It's inside of you. Peter says something, joy unspeakable. And the devil can't take your joy. Nobody can take your joy.
That's right.
But what he can do is get you to eat out of a little bowl, a little grumpy soup.
Come on.
You start eating a little bit of that little grumpy soup, your joy is gone.
That's right.
And that's how he gets you to steal your joy from you. He gave you a testimony. And everybody's just a little bit different, but what well, he puts it from my face on to get me to ease my temper.
Come on.
I'll start snapping off and going and turning back into the old me wanting to break somebody's neck. And that, Miss Janice knows she won't stab somebody. It's all right. But that kills her testimony.
Amen. Yes, it does.
When I start snapping off, that kills my words. It takes the power out of the words that I speak.
Yes, it does.
Even in the Bible it says, let your light shine. Don't put it under a bowl. It says put it on a stand and let the world see. Light the world with it. Oh. And a lot of y'all probably think I'm being hard on Esau talking about him tonight. But even in the Bible it says, Steve, pull up Hebrews 12, 15, and 16. Steve, you awake, maker? I think he was. Obviously not very. Well. This is very awkward. How was y'all's day? Okay. I'll go old school. Give me a buck. Read it more. Read it more.
There you go.
It says, looking diligently lest any man fall of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and therefore many be defiled. Here's the kicker. Lest there be any fornication or profane person. And Paul's right now, he was like, who can I describe when I say this? Esau. So it says, as Esau, who was one more, what version is this? Well, it says, as Esau, who was for one morsel of meat, sold his birthright. In the King James, it says, as Esau, who was godless. Is that how you want to be remembered?
Come on.
As godless? Y'all got quiet. But look at your neighbor and say, I ain't got to be remembered like that. I ain't got to be remembered like that. But tonight, that's all I was wanting to do, is just let y'all know that sometimes this bowl looks good. Sometimes this bowl starts smelling good to you. But as you see the consequences for eating out of that bowl, very harsh. Starts taking away your tomorrow, starts taking away from everything that you worked hard for. And I see it firsthand every day from different people. Then I get phone calls be like, I don't know why this is happening, Roy. I'm like, I know you start eating out of that bowl again. So if I can urge any of y'all tonight, it's be careful when that bowl's stuck under your nose.
Amen.
Be careful who you talk to when you're in a bad state. And remember that you're worthy, that you ain't got to settle, and that you deserve only the best. that you don't want to be remembered as godless. Tonight, I'll just give y'all, like I do every Friday, I'll give y'all a chance. I won't mess with you. If you feel like you just need to drop something off, leave it laying here. So when you leave here tonight, you can leave with your birthright, you can leave with your joy, you can leave with your peace, you can leave with your testimony. Those altars are open. Just remember, you don't have to eat out of that bowl. And just remember, you are worthy. Look at your person beside you and say, I'm worthy. I ain't got to drink out of that bowl no more. I ain't got to eat out of that bowl no more. And I ain't going to mess with that bowl no more. All right. Love you guys. Like I said, the altar's open if you want it. And I will see y'all next Friday.